Right up. All right, well, we're back in the garage again, and today I gotta do a little oil change on the old Spec V here, my trusty steed at the moment. I figured it'd be perfect time to make this video on just how out of hand things have gotten this year. I do love this car. I don't love it as much as the B13. I will always hold a special place in my heart. You guys know that. It's kind of where everything started. But Spec B is pretty sweet. So, yeah, things got out of hand. So I know for you guys, there's only 2 videos ago that you guys saw me get the Spec V, but it's been a pretty long year with the old girl. It basically started with kind of, you guys saw the last 2 videos. I did coilovers, and then I swapped gear stacks out in the trans for the Maxima trans, the 3.8 final drive. And I think in that video I said it, which kind of foreshadowed the whole situation, that it'd be perfect for boost with that final drive in there. And once I kind of got that idea in my head, it never left. Very shortly after I did the trans setup, I just started stacking parts for like, the month and a half after that. Just an eBay manifold, eBay turbo, like a Rev 9 T3 turbo, whatever. It's actually the turbo that is now on the black car that I have some video, some footage that I'll be posting pretty soon. This turbo, right here, that guy. With that, basically just threw a quick little setup on here with some spare stuff, like, intercooler piping, that sort of thing. Also bought a cheap Rev 9 intercooler, and just kind of like threw the whole setup together. It wasn't very pretty. Had, random different color intercooler couplers and all that sort of stuff. But the setup worked, and it was fun. It still is fun. It was only on like 4 PSI, 3-4 PSI when I first put it together. I think that's gonna be it. Oh yeah, duh, clutch. I mean, it's idling mad, dude. Yeah, no, it's just neutral. That's that. I am done. exhaust work on the Spec V again. Swapping out the little less than 2.5 inch mid pipe and cat for some 2.75 and a larger cat. Give it a start with the open down pipe. So I basically drove the car around like that for like a few months. I changed the boost. Oh, there also I didn't mention I had a Rev 9, or I think it ended up being, I ordered a Rev 9, they ended up getting an Amusa wastegate, 38mm wastegate, 2-bolt flange. And then yeah, I drove that around for basically the better part of the whole summer. Upped the boost a little bit. I think at one point I had like a T in the wastegate line that had it up to like 6 PSI, which still, you know, nothing major, but it's a ton of fun. So then you can see I started slowly, because I only had at this point like a 2.5 inch exhaust that I'd thrown in the car, with a Magnaflow muffler that also now is on the, this is extremely impossible. It's also now on the black Spec V, that little guy up there. So I had that on the car when I first turboed it, and just like some 2.5 inch piping also that's mostly on the black car up there. So I slowly started converting the exhaust over to, I had some 3 inch and I had some 2.75 inch already like stashed away. So I slowly started getting that basically pieced together and just set up on the car. Drove that around a little while longer with that and got tired of that. So then I installed this guy down here. Actually, no, first I straight piped it for a while, which I think I have a clip of that. And then I put on the Apexi. This thing was off of another car that we then installed in another car at some point like 1.5 years ago, and then pulled it back off that car and it sat in a bush outside, or in some bushes, whatever, in the dirt. So basically I went outside, grabbed that thing. Had to cut the back off. Somebody had already cut it off and like repaired it, cut it back off, packed it with exhaust wrap basically. Not basically, I packed it with exhaust wrap, welded it back up, and now it's what you're looking at currently. So it came out, you know, pretty good, pretty all right. It sounds okay. I'm happy with it. It probably doesn't sound as good as if I would have spent the money and bought a brand new Apexi N1 muffler. I believe it's N1. But it sounds not bad. I cannot complain. It sounds better than what it did when it was straight piped. All right, so I finished the exhaust. I was pretty happy with it. It's now basically 2.75 and 3 inch
all the way back. There's no restrictions in there. And I probably about a week after I finished the exhaust, go figure, the clutch decided to go. So that's no fun. This oil is really hot right now. This is gonna hurt. Ow, I lost the drain plug. That's what magnets are for though, so I'm not gonna be too mad about it.
The clutch started slipping, as you can see, and pulled that sucker out ASAP. I knew I had a spare clutch that I was planning on using, and well, you'll see how that went in just a moment here.
Okay, this was not the plan. Want to go throw, this is a competition, stage like 4, I believe. Went to go throw it on the car, and for whatever reason, the holes don't line up. It's a wider bolt pattern than is on these two single mass conversion flywheels. Crap. So this wasn't the plan, but I have to use this now. The reason I'm sighing is because wish me luck.
Got the engine out, and you could just see real quick how dirty the engine bay is. Keep note of that.
Not only is it pretty gunky in there, but look at those guys right there. And if we come in here, bah. Bah. All right, pretty stoked. Finally, basically the teardown process for this project is complete, and I like what I found. So, pretty sure it was a head gasket, as I was suspecting. Burning coolant, I think I said that. Yada yada, so forth, blah blah. Think that's that. Tore this sucker apart. Obviously, duh. Okay, so I realized that, like, none of you probably know what's going on. Smoke stop clutch. Went to put in competition clutch, stage 4, used clutch. Wouldn't fit my stock OEM, not stock, but like OEM flywheel, single mass flywheel conversion. Didn't fit that. Had to switch over to the sketchy Jim Wolf lightweight flywheel that has came loose on a previous car. Torqued it down with my Ugga Dugga. Wasn't happy. Pulled the engine back out. Decided to do the head gasket along with that. Here is engine. Here is the head. Gunky. So here's the rest of engine parts, cams, all that good stuff. New gaskets for the timing cover. Come in here. Oh, it's dark as shit. Spare block, belt block, rods, pistons, V16 crank, junk. Spare head, pulled it off of that block over there. Did not have valve seals in it. Pretty weird. Gonna send it with this head. It is, can't really see because it's too dark in here right now, but the intake side ports are not really ported, but they're polished. Exhaust side is too, actually, but it's so gunked up you can't really see in there. Has Gym Wolf valve springs, good for 7,200 RPMs. I have a Gym Wolf balance shaft removal kit I'm putting in as well. And I'm deleting the AC properly with the pulley. Because all 3 specs that I've worked on recently were just deleted by taking the lines out, still ran the compressor. So, also, so many things going on. Swapped to a different power steering rack. I rebuilt my power steering, not really rebuilt it, but I just threw new gaskets in here, here, and a new gasket on the back side just to eliminate any possibilities of leaks. I have a new used tensioner to go in because mine was junk. Also, some sketchy ARP head studs that the nuts get stripped out at the top. So I'm just gonna leave them like this and put them in. Because yeah, they don't like to spin up past that, but they're pretty smooth the rest of the way down. So that's my sketchy project. Okay, time for a little update on how the Spec V is going. This is the head I'll be using. Got 4 of the valves installed and just kind of wanted to do a quick little comparison between this head and what came off. Here's all the valves that'll be going in. I just hand lapped all of them quickly. Gym Wolf valve springs. Just for comparison's sake, here's some of my old VE exhaust valves. You can just see all the gunk and stuff on like a typical used valve. These things are brand new. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to kind of show this because it's pretty crazy. Look at this piece of crap head that was on my car. So, needless to say, it should definitely run better. Oof. So, pretty stoked. Pretty stoked. So the timing gear on my engine, as you can see, has some fairly deep grooves from the chain wearing into the teeth, and didn't want to take the chance of it shearing like it did on the other motor you guys may have seen. So I went ahead. I know they do make a billet option, but this was next day delivery and it was only $40. So I picked up a new Nissan crank gear, head gasket, exhaust gasket, upper lower thermostat, rear main seal, and I think we're ready to put it back together. Okay, I think I'm done. Like a few small things. Gotta put the coolant bubble in here. I relocated the fuse box, gotta make a bracket for that. And just like some small stuff, but most of it's good. So I have coils and injectors disconnected so I can prime oil in the engine. And that's what we're gonna do now. Figure record it in case it sounds like a jar of marbles. Sounds good up there. Plug these in. Come on. Keep on. There it is. And now it should like fire right up. Ah! Okay, so damn it. Okay, well that was stupid. Got $1 for every time I did that. It's like $12. It should start. Nope. So, did I fry something? There should be lights going on up there. Well, at least it didn't mess anything worse up. Okay, swapped in a new 120 amp fuse, and that should hopefully be all it was. Oh yeah. Jeez, I'm so bad at this. There's the cluster again, and not sure why that bad boy is on. Yeah, kind of just made the best of it, did what I had to do to figure that out. Wasn't planning on going that route, like I said, but everything was already apart, had to get it figured out, didn't have money to kind of just order, you know, a new clutch that would work in that amount of time, so I had to do what I had to do. Luckily, I did have, you know, the spare stuff to make that work. Kind of, you know, really lucked out on that one, so really can't be too mad. So you might have noticed a moment ago, I did mention that I'm not using the Rev 9 turbo on this anymore. I'm using that on the black car. I do now have a Turbonetics turbo on the silver car, along with a Treadstone manifold and a Treadstone intercooler. That basically gets us to where we're at now, except if you notice, there's not the B16 manifold on there at this point. I went ahead and I also used the B15 manifold that was also on the black car when I got it. Don't know why. Decided to do that. Drove around a little bit, felt the difference in the mid-range. Like they say this is good for like 20-ish wheel torque in like the 4K range. I felt like I felt the difference. Maybe it was just like a mental thing because I had those numbers sitting in the back of my head. But I literally drove the car home. I think I drove it to work the following day. Drove it home, took it apart, put the B60 manifold back on. That is when I made this nifty little bracket that you're seeing to hold the manifold and all that stuff kind of just steady. Before there was a lot of flex and a lot of play. Now you can shake the whole thing. It shakes the whole car. It's pretty nice. And along with that, I also swapped in some, I believe they're like 535 or 550cc injectors, the blue ones that you're seeing now. And that gets us to where we're at currently. still on like 5 pounds of boost, still on the Imusa wastegate. Actually, it's less than 5 pounds of boost, it's 4 pounds of boost. Simple, just set up. Still on the SAFC on the inside. Not sure if I'd mentioned that. I think I did early on, like right off the rip, I put the SAFC in it if I remember correctly. But yeah, like I said, just like a simple, clean setup. I didn't really do too much else to the car outside of what goes on in the engine bay and stuff pertaining to the engine. I cleaned the interior a bunch of times. Bought a rug shampooer specifically to clean the car. And that's really it. Oh. So, like I said, that basically catches everybody up with the Spec V here. So definitely stick around. Not really sure what the next step on this is going to be. Probably built motor, better tune, and yeah, then who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens next. But definitely stick around. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys next time.